Hello everybody, it's Josie here. I'm doing a smash or trash review today, so I don't think I've done one of these in a while, but normally I do these for new released books. So the book that I'm going to talk about here is The Night Country by Melissa Elbert. Now, The Night Country is the follow-up to, The Hazelwood. Sorry, I had to remember what the follow-up was. This is the follow-up to The Hazelwood, and I really like The Hazelwood, so if you haven't read either of them, The Hazelwood is kind of this dark fairy tale-esque book about a girl her name is Alice, and she lives with her mother, and they're always kind of moving around, and it's not the most stable life she has, and you know it's not that great. And then she learns about her grandmother, Althea, her mother's mom. And her grandmother is this incredibly celebrated sort of underground cult author of this book of dark fairy tales. And it's called The Hinterland, Tales from the Hinterland. And she lived in this kind of rambling mansion, and there's a whole kind of mystery around Althea and this kind of cult following around Althea and the Hinterland and these fairy tales that she wrote about the Hinterland. And basically what happens is Alice and her friend, they leave New York City and they go on this quest to find out more about her grandmother. I really, really enjoyed The Hazelwood. I will say right now there's not really queer content in The Hazelwood at all. It was just a book that I really enjoyed reading because one of the other things that I really enjoy is kind of dark fairy tale books. And this fits the bill perfectly. I'm a big fan of Holly Black. And actually, while we're here, I'll hold up this book, The Darkest Part of the Forest, which is a Holly Black book, which I've also just read. And I'm going to do a more in-depth review on this one because this one is going to be, I'm reading a few Holly Black books. I'm going to talk more about Holly Black in this one and another book called The Poison Eaters that I'm reading of hers. But this has kind of similar vibes. So I think, though, in my opinion, that The Night Country really ramps it up a notch. I would dare say that it's better written, although I really do love Holly Black. But I'm just thinking, if you like this kind of dark, modern fairy tale-esque books of Holly Black's, you'll probably like The Night Country. And the first book, The Hazelwood. So you've got the story, so I'm not going to delve too much into the story here, but this is basically a continuation of after the events of The Hazelwood. We see what happens to Alice and how her life progresses after those events. This is beautifully written. There's lots of dark fae in it, which I love. It's partially set in New York City. I really like books set in New York City. So you've kind of got that modern fairy tale-esque, again, reminds me a little bit of Tithe from Holly Black. That's real kind of creepy fairy tale creatures, but setting them in the modern world and in the real world. And I really enjoyed this book. I enjoyed the kind of the mystery element to it, like the what's going on. I enjoyed the writing. I enjoyed the characterization. I like Alice as a character. There's a tiny glimmer of queerness in the beginning of this book, and it starts off where Alice is at a party and she's actually never been kissed, and her friend, who is a girl, kind of kisses her for the first time, and that's sort of like her first kiss. But there isn't really romance. There's a romance element in this, but that's not the main focus of the book, I would say. And it's more about kind of what's happening and, you know, what's going on with these people of the Hinterland and Alice and that kind of thing. And also what made me really excited about this was that at the back of this book, it's basically telling us that there is going to be a release of Tales from the Hinterland next year by Melissa Elbert. Now, Tales from the Hinterland is this book that her grandmother Althea wrote, and that kind of depicts these fairy tales. So that's going to be really interesting. So we're going to get to see almost this book that's a book within this book, but we're going to see the real book. Does that make any sense? No, but you know what I mean. So Melissa's actually going to write the Tales from the Hinterland, hopefully, which I think will be really interesting. But yeah, I really like this. Like I said, I love this kind of mix of fairy tales and modern and that kind of sort of adventure story. So I really enjoyed it. So I would give it a full 4.5, just for sheer fun and enjoyment. Also, beautiful cover, and I managed to get these gorgeous sprayed edges. I actually had the Hazelwood also, and you can see there it had that blue cover and it had blue sprayed edges, and it ended up in one of my charity shop piles, unfortunately. And now I kind of wish I hadn't, before I read this book I was like, oh, I kind of wish I hadn't given it away because I really wanted to read it again, but and also it would have been a matching set, but anyway, this is a beautiful, it's the Waterstones edition, and it's really, really pretty. So yeah, so I would recommend, if you like that kind of thing, if you like dark fairy tales, if you like Holly Black, if you just want a bit of escapist fun, I read this really quickly, I really enjoyed it, and it also has some beautiful writing, which is very cool. So yeah, I would say it's a smash. I would recommend it, particularly if you've read the Hazelwood. Definitely read the follow-up. And like I said, if you like these, you'll probably like The Darkest Part of the Forest, and this also has wonderful queer content, and you probably like Tithe and kind of other Holly Black books as well. So that's it. So that's my review. Let me know if you've read The Night Country or the Hazelwood, or Holly Black, or anything like this that you would recommend. Let me know, and I will speak to you all again very soon. Bye-bye.